Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. This is episode 614. Oh, that was a football game last night, and certainly we have to talk about it, but two of my best buds in the world are here, and we're just going to try to find something positive out of what a yuck fest that was last night on primetime. How are we feeling today, boys?
I kept waiting for that fourth quarter to come through and McCarthy to do his thing, but didn't happen this time.
I think it's very fitting that after 10 years of not having a pass rush, Atlanta finally found it, and it would be in Minnesota, where they keep losing games in these throwback jerseys. I'm like, can we stop?
I was surprised Atlanta went in this draft and went for both their edge rushers, because we know they needed at least one, but boy, they went all out in this year's draft to go get talent.
Yeah, it was certainly a football game that was played. Not a very good one. I'll be honest, I was like you guys, I kept waiting. Okay, when are the Vikings going to show up? When are they going to do it? When are they going to show up? And they never really did. There's not a whole heck of a lot of positives to talk about that one. And in a way, man, there's almost more news that came out Monday, the day after, the day that we were recording, than what there truly is to talk about on that football game, because we got injury news, we got JJ McCarthy news, we got Carson Wentz to talk about, we got Cincinnati, they got issues with their quarterback being injured as well. There's a lot to discuss here on this Monday.
Let's do it this way. Let's go over the game first, because the game was terrible, and we can kind of just highlight. There's nothing good to talk about in this game. There's not. A lot of people got injured. McCarthy looked terrible. The offense didn't look great. Play calling wasn't great. Defense had its moments, but
defense came on.
Yeah, that is the one consistent here, is eventually there will be pressure with this defense. Not really great, though. I mean, I'm looking at the box score here. Atlanta came to Minnesota's home opener last night. They honored Hall of Famer Jared Allen at halftime, and they whooped the Vikings pretty good. 22-6. Minnesota only scored 2 field goals in the second quarter, 3 out of 4 quarters with no points. Bijan Robinson had 143 ground yards. They had over 200 yards rushing as a team.
We could not stop. We absolutely could not stop the run. It felt like every single time their back got the ball, he was going for 10 yards.
That was frustrating.
Very.
It was how much they looked to improve that part of the defensive line.
And yet, for all that, the Vikings still bent but didn't really break when it came to defense. Atlanta didn't run up the score on Minnesota. They were somehow still in it.
They were able to hold them to touchdowns.
Quarter, I don't know how.
Yeah, they were able to hold them to field goals and not let them score touchdowns. So that's a key kind of takeaway from this one.
I also
we can give away our game balls now if you got one.
Oh, I'm going to do the first time ever. I'm giving my game ball to somebody not on the Vikings team.
Parker Romero.
Dude, we all thought it would be the Kirk Cousins.
Coward.
Yeah, give it to Coward for being right.
Yeah.
We got to give it to John Parker Romo. I mean, I thought this was going to be the highlight of 2 years ago, national championship quarterbacks.
No, John. Just Parker Romo.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Parker Romo, you get my game ball. To get called off the couch to do that is pretty impressive. And to do it in a place where you used to play, I'm sure there was no bad blood, because nobody really cares about kickers unless you're terrible. He wasn't terrible for this team at all. But to come in and take over like that and to be clutch, I'm looking down here just real quick. Parker Romo, 5 of 5 and 1 for his extra points. So he was perfect on the night. Hit a long of 54. I mean, it's impressive. It really is.
Did you see the post game with Parker Romo where the NBC team was talking to him? They were introducing him to some of his teammates that he hadn't even met yet.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Well, I think if they don't bring back Younghoe Koo, they have their guy at least for the year, and I love to see that, because kickers don't make a lot of money, and I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't make more. I'm not going in that direction with this, but for how important they can be, and literally just one job to win the game, to have a dude come off the couch. That happened in week 1, right? Some other kicker did that as well. Was it Buffalo? Was on a red-eye flight on Thursday night, and they came in and did well for Buffalo. So to be under that kind of readiness all the time, it's impressive, and it needs to be said. And I'll say it: if you only score 6 points, there's not a lot to talk about on this team. And if it's sacrilege, yell at me in the comments. I don't care.
And Parker Romo did a real good job of when he was filling in for Will Reichert for the Vikings last season. That's another opportunity. I didn't want to come, where he could outkick the Minnesota Vikings offense, but he did.
Yeah, he made 5 last night, 1 from 54. It's impressive. I'm not going to go on too much about Atlanta because I don't want to talk about the other team, but not the highlights in the matchup we thought. Obviously, Kirk Cousins has his second reunion as a Falcon, coming back to Minnesota 2 years in a row. He didn't see the field last night. Michael Penix looked okay.
Did he?
Yeah, he looked fine. I
He's
think
getting rid of the ball real fast. I still can't believe how fast his release is.
Oh, appreciate that, Skullprod. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, we're glad to have you back. It is painful. This is 7 of the 8 worst quarters of football I've watched this team do in a while. Offensively, at least, like you said, give the defense props.
Above all else, you want to know what the problem was for these past 2 games for me as a fan? They've been boring to watch. Like I know that, yeah, you can nitpick and you can always find some. Hey, this player did well, that player did well. It's been fucking boring football to watch for them. Other than that fourth quarter that they played against Chicago, like I'm sitting here going like I'd rather be playing Mario Kart or something.
Yeah, we've seen one really good quarter of Vikings football in 2 games, and that's not going to cut it.
No. Yeah, we're going to get into that. Kyle, put a pin in that if you remember. I'll try to, but talking about boring, because I have a way that I want to go with this, but I don't want to forget about it.
All right, Wes, go ahead and give away your game ball, because I have 2 in my mind.
Literally anyone who sat through 4 quarters of that football game as a fan, you deserve a game ball. Because that was not a good game. That was disappointing and frustrating and all of that. And like I don't think there's a player on offense or defense who deserves a game ball after that performance. Fuck all of them.
So I gotta wonder, is it like in Will Reichert's blood to hit those field goals as the half is expiring? Is that like what he does?
He's got to have something, man. Being the NCAA all-time leading scorer as a kicker, like he's got the juice. I'll give him.
And
that.
What was that one? 51 before the half.
I have to see here.
Yeah, pretty close to that.
Yeah, 2 of 2.
Because yeah, he has taken any doubt that I had as far as like the preseason and training camp, and he has shown that he very well deserves that role, and hopefully he can continue to do that going forward. My other choice on the game ball was going to be Jalen Redmond, who I thought had a really great job up front in that defense. Mm-hmm. He got some pressures, got a tackle for a loss and a sack, so got to appreciate that. It's nice when those guys can step in and play pretty well. I had one friend that was saying, oh, I bet they wish they had Harrison Phillips for that game. I'm like, he wasn't that much better against the run, to be honest.
You know what? I'll take it back. We won't give it to a Falcon. I'm looking at it here. And I forgot about it because the game was dreadful most of the time. I like that Dallas Turner got his start. 5 tackles, 3 by himself, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. For all you people that said he was a bust.
He gets dogged on a lot.
He gets unfair criticism, and he showed last night that he has all the juice to be a starter. It's just he hasn't got to see the field yet because there's 2 Pro Bowlers in front of him.
It's funny you say juice because our background there kind of looks like a raspberry.
A little bit.
I like that.
You know, I kind of have the same opinion on J.J. McCarthy as I do on Dallas Turner, where it's like we haven't seen enough of either of these 2 guys, and we've seen a little bit more better football out of Dallas Turner than we have McCarthy. But people who are ready to call either or a bust, and yes, I'm very frustrated with J.J. McCarthy's performance overall as well too. But like, I'm not quite ready to call him a bust, and Dallas Turner is not a bust, and like, you do have to give players time to develop, and grow. And like you said, there's a lot of good pieces on defense. That Turner is more of a rotational guy at the moment for the team. But it is nice to see him out there on the field and producing for the Vikings.
It's funny you say that because it might be a little while before we get to see J.J. McCarthy again.
Yeah, we don't have to go over this game anymore. It's 1-1. They're not completely in the tank, but so far, 90% of what we've seen from the Vikings offensively has been dog shit. And I hate to say that because I want to bring myself back from the crash out that I had for the first 3 quarters of the Bears game. But I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here. I think this team is a little fraudulent because There's an idea of what they want to do, but I don't think they're good enough to do it yet.
What is it? What
Okay.
is Kevin? Okay, so
Here,
what is
what they
Kevin?
want to do with JJ McCarthy is they want to build and try to build a team like the Michigan team, because clearly I will die on this hill right now 2 games in. This game is too much for him at the current moment. Can it be better later? Maybe. We're going to find out. I think they're going to roll with him. But
So if the idea here is that you're going to run the ball and play defense, why did you trade for Adam Thielen? Why didn't you just?
that's one question, which I understand. I know why they did because
know.
of Addison, but I totally know what you're saying.
So I got a question to go with your fraud thing. What are they a fraud towards? Like,
Because whether we want to admit it or not, and I'll give you your credit, you are the most positive of the 3 of us, Adam, and we do appreciate that. I will call a spade and be more negative more often than not. Jordan Mason and or Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones probably is more of a complete running back number 1, but he's 31 going on 32. We do not have a Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, insert whatever. We don't have a dominant running back. To think you're going to just go in and have that performance with Jordan Mason is a great complimentary number 2. He's not the dude to lead the team and be that kind of person. We need.
So is that the failure of expectation that makes them a fraud then to you?
I think what it is they have an idea and an identity of what they want to do, but I don't think that they're quite there to do it yet. And that's what I don't like is I see what you want to do, but I don't think you quite have the pieces in that department to do it yet. I'm not saying that the running back room's awful. I'm not saying that. But if you want the most important position on the field to do better, number 1, we haven't even touched on the injuries for the line. I totally give JJ that percentage of a pass for having his center go down and then the third string, either center or the backup tackles in. Like, I get it. But everything that I've seen so far, I'm baffled as we have the reigning coach of the year back there, and this is how prepared you are in your home opener and your first game. Like, it looks like they just started practicing last week.
Fans that entered this whole thing expecting J.J. McCarthy to look more polished and everything, they have to be really disappointed. But I came into this season expecting lumps and some struggles and some problems. I didn't expect them to come anywhere near the 14 wins from last season.
But here's the problem with that, Adam.
So maybe the tapered expectations are where I am being a little bit more patient than some others.
You are, and I wish I had your patience on that. But as it stands through 8 quarters of football, he is 32nd in QBR, which is the true test of quarterbacks. The only quarterback worse than him is Cam Ward, who is a true rookie, played the same amount of games.
But he is one of only 2 players in the NFL who have the NFC Offensive Player of the Week trophy.
And he shouldn't have won it. Yeah. It should have went to Puka Nacua, and I don't like that's cool. I appreciate it. They did win that game, and he was a big part of it. But 90% of everything we've watched through 2 games, I know I'm saying through 2 games, I'm overreacting. It's fine. 2 games through, and he looks like a college quarterback just getting in. And what's frustrating to me, and I told Kyle this earlier today, we were bitching to each other on the side about this game.
Yeah.
I understand getting a setback with an injury. Like, I'm not going to fault the player for getting injured. It's a tough sport. But he already had his redshirt year to learn, and he got to be there on the sideline for half the season last year, and he had all of this offseason, and he still looks lost.
So I think the problem is the problem truly is expectations. And I know exactly what Adam's saying is that we probably all should have tempered them a little bit coming in with McCarthy. But I mean, this is a team that felt ready-made to win right now. You've got Justin Jefferson, one of the top 2 or 3 wide receivers in the league, in his prime. You're ready to win right now with this team, and you don't have the time to sit back with J.J. McCarthy and say, well, we're going to suck and we're going to win 5 games this year and 4 games next year, and we're going to have a couple top 10 picks, and we'll be good to go in a couple years down the line, and that's not where we're at right now. And I think that's why a lot of fans view this as extra frustrating when, look, if this was a Christian Ponder team where all you have is Adrian Peterson and Devin Aromashadu out there as your skill position players, like, you can kind of temper your expectations a hell of a lot more with that. But you look at this team, and I'm going to say it. Carson Wentz is going to step in, guys. and he is going to look like an NFL ready quarterback. And all of a sudden, the ball is going to move down the field, and you're going to get first downs. And suddenly, Justin Jefferson is going to be going off, and he's going to have himself a game, and you're going to see a difference. The problem is it's not going to be sustainable with Carson Wentz. He's a backup for a reason, okay? But all of a sudden, you're going to see the Vikings offense out there, and they're going to look like a professional team all of a sudden.
Well, it's going to feel so different because Carson Wentz is going to try to beat people with his arm. And McCarthy was very dedicated to being able to move around the pocket with his feet, create things, buy some time. And that wasn't able to happen on Monday night, or on Sunday night, but Carson Wentz opens up some new, more familiar opportunities because he's going to play a lot more like we're used to seeing Kirk Cousins do.
The problem with Carson Wentz, too, is he hasn't played a full season since 2021 with Indy. He only had 8 games played with the Commanders, 2 with the Rams, 3 last year with the Chiefs. So he's bounced around. He's on his 5th team, 6th team in 6 years. I don't know how he's going to stay. Like, it's kind of like Flacco in Cleveland. Yeah, he's probably the best option, but like Flacco hasn't played a full season since 2017. Can Carson Wentz step in and fill in and bring it, elevate it up? If it's truly just a 3 to 4 week thing with McCarthy, I think he could do fine. But we'll see.
The bar, and again, I'm trying not to just completely knock J.J. McCarthy because I do like the kid. I do think he has potential and could develop into a good starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Truth be told, I don't know what's going on with him right now. I don't know if it was a lack of preparation. I don't know if it was not getting enough time in training camp and preseason. Like, I don't know what the issue is. Guys, the bar is so incredibly low for what Carson Wentz has to do in order to look better than McCarthy. Like, it's not going to take much for him to succeed against Cincinnati out there. Did we even mention that McCarthy has a high ankle sprain and is going to be out for, 2 to 4 weeks potentially?
That's what Kevin O'Connell said at the presser today.
But I haven't seen anything about him being placed on like short-term IR or anything like that.
No.
Right, and Kevin O'Connell said he expects him to be back. He got his ankle taped up during the game last night. I was listening to it on the way home before we started the show. Let me go on one little mini rant one more time because I'm going to tell you where my mind's at and why I'm upset. Like you said, if this was the Panthers or the Giants or somebody like that and we didn't expect to win a lot, cool. We had a dude who looked like absolute dog shit his entire career step in last season, and I don't know if he didn't get MVP votes. He should have. He had a phenomenal season.
You talking about Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold looked great last year. Now, you can go on down that path of arguing whether he should have stayed or not. We're way past that at this point. I don't want to have that conversation. But we had a guy that he has all the talent in the world. He just needs to be coached correctly and see it a little differently and how to reset, right? So with McCarthy having half of last season during the year and all this offseason and it just looks like it's too much for him at the moment. I don't understand that. I don't think the play calling's done him any favors. I think Darrisaw being out sucks. And not having Jordan Addison certainly changes a little bit of the offensive look. But at the end of the day...
you got Justin Jefferson, though. So,
he doesn't have weapons. I'm trying to curb the excuses.
Naylor has been playing really well. So, I don't...
Here's my freak out, though. Here's the whole point of what I'm trying to say with this is we are... And you can hate me for this and disagree all day. We'll have the conversation. Put it in the comments, please. We are wasting Justin Jefferson's prime years right now. And I don't care who it is. I don't care how much you think he's a hometown, whatever. He is 26 going on 27. He is in the absolute prime of his career.
Correct.
And if he's trending down towards top 10, if this continues this entire season and if he even makes it to next year, watch him ask for a trade. And then what happens to your offense? Oh my God, like the one foundation of the team, now we're kind of stumbling. We're way out of what we used to be. It happened so fast. And then I'm looking at the coach who I know is a good coach. If Jefferson was to ask to leave, and I'm totally speculating here, I know that. You don't think Kevin O'Connell's seat starts getting hot? I don't want to go through this bullshit again of having a coach who's out of date, out of touch, whatever else. But I can't help but feel right now as a super early freak out, you picked a kid who had the keys to a Ferrari his entire college career, and what did he ever do to show you, like, oh my God, he looks like Mahomes or Allen or whoever? And I understand that's not fair for me to ask that. I'm way over speculating here, but this is the mood we're in right now because I'm surprised. It feels like this team is 0-7, but they're 1-1 somehow. But this can't sustain. They're going to play the Eagles. They're going to go to Dallas. Hell, the Giants might even beat them at this point because they look great. They're going to play 2 games overseas in a different time zone with 2 really good defenses coming up. I didn't expect him to be this lackluster. Like Adam says, hey, you probably should have curbed your expectations with J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
Sure. But they haven't been able to do anything. And I'm confused. Like, I guess I'm leaving with more questions of where is the major what's the major issue here where they're just not gelling? Now, the good thing is, to turn it around and spin it positive, is there hasn't been a lot of reports of like, well, there's inner turmoil and there's this, like, they just took their lumps and say, hey, we're going to figure it out. And I hope I look like a jackass 4 weeks from now when they've won 4 games in a row and they're cool. But
give the turmoil a little bit, because what happens when Carson Wentz does the most Vikings thing imaginable, and he comes out and he throws for 4 touchdowns, and Justin Jefferson goes off for $175, and we're like, we're back, baby, and we look awesome for a 4-game stretch, and then McCarthy comes back and they try to put McCarthy in, and he looks like dog shit. Then what happens? Then what conversation?
It's not fair, because if that happens, people are going to say, and then the vibe is going to be, well, you got to move off on him. I like the kid. I think he has a winning attitude. I think he's got the crazy, like, really good mental state. But I don't know at this point, if, like I said, I wouldn't be saying any of this if he was Cam Ward and this was his true freshman year. He had a year to chill and learn this shit. He had all the offseason to get this right, and I can't not give some of it on Kevin O'Connell. Like, there is a little squirreliness there of like, why did you call this? Why did you call that? But I believe he's the real deal. I believe they went and upgraded the offensive line. They went and got Adam Thielen, and they didn't have to get him. And I'm just looking at him like, he looks like he hasn't played pro football. Oh my God. Oh my God.
One of the worst parts about this whole scenario right now is the Lions are 1-1 and they still look good. But the Packers are 2-0 and they are looking like the team to beat in the division right now.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I'm still not too worried about the Bears. But this division is definitely going to be real tough, and the way the Vikings are playing right now, I'm not sure I can put them in that conversation.
I can't.
I hate to say it.
I can't. I still think they have the potential to have a really good defense. You know, it has only been 2 games. But guys, you got to have an offense that can get a first down. Like you gotta give your defense time to like rest out there on the sidelines. Like you can't.
And don't get me wrong, I like what Jordan Mason's been doing. He runs hard. He plays well. I feel like with Aaron Jones out, he's going to get a big opportunity to pick up a lot of yards on the ground, and hopefully the offensive line will be able to get together and make some nice holes for him and keep those chains moving, because that was definitely missing on Sunday night.
I'm going to share this real quick just because. Window, tab, or entire screen? What do we want to do?
Entire screen.
I'll figure that out in just a second. I'm with you on that. I like the addition of Jordan Mason. I think he brings like a super physical style of running, and I appreciate all of that. It's just tough. I don't know what the answer is. I know, like I said, I'll double down on this. I know certainly not having Darisaw, your center goes out with a possible concussion. Van Ginkel was out. They didn't have a lot of help, but
towards the end of the fourth quarter of that game, McCarthy was getting the ball snapped. The snaps were going high, and as soon as he was dropping back, he was getting the shit kicked out of him on that game.
No C.J. Ham, no Blake Cashman. This team is banged up.
Right.
I'm going to take that and put that on the screen for now. Shout out to Vikes Verified on Instagram. I love this page. But these are the injuries so far. Obviously, we saw that C.J. Ham was out starting the year, still not available. Ryan Kelly, starting center. Justin Skule, backup left tackle. Ty Chandler, Jeff Okudah, Aaron Jones, J.J. McCarthy, Harrison Smith, Blake Cashman, Rondale Moore, Gabriel Murphy, Christian Darisaw, and Andrew Van Ginkel. I mean, how many of those... How many of those are your starters? It's wild. Oh, it's crazy.
Not looking good.
It's not fun. I'm not completely... Now, I know I went on a big rant of like, this is the worst possible doomsday scenario I'm projecting out a year from now. I will say I'm not hitting the panic button of like, oh my God, fire sale, burn it down. I think that probably the better way, the less dramatic way I should say it is, what's missing and what's wrong that needs fixing, because I don't know what it is, and it's just tough looking at the team because I see bits and pieces of when it might work, but overall the offense, man, the offense is bad.
It's going to be super interesting to see how Carson Wentz does when he's plugged in, and what he can do in this system with this quarterback and with this talent around him, and with the coach on his side. And he's going to have every opportunity to show that he is still a possible starting quarterback in the NFL, and this game is going to mean a lot to Carson Wentz.
Shout out to Muffin Man 67. That's amazing. I love the profile name and the picture. Don't know if I've ever seen you in our comments before, but we really appreciate you here. Yeah, I hope the Packers are just good for now and benefited from 2 home games. I don't know. Them thumping Detroit was not what I had on my bingo card. I could have seen them winning that game, but not like that. I thought the Commanders were in the NFC Championship game last year, and how did Cowherd say it? That was the youngest team in the NFL, and it looked like the oldest team in the NFL. And that's exactly, age-wise on the roster, what it looked like. And I was like, damn, that's actually well said. I don't know.
I'm sitting here thinking, we've seen the Vikings, and I believe it was under Kevin O'Connell, start off slow, have this slow start to the season before. Wasn't it just a couple years ago that they were, it took until they played, I believe, the 49ers a couple games into the season for them to finally get things going and get the ball rolling underneath them. So I don't feel like it's unheard of for, them to kind of get this slow start going. So it will be interesting to see, the change at quarterback and what happens here down the line for the team. It is only 2 games, and you don't want to hit the panic button like you said. I'm not having the fire sale on the team,
right,
just yet.
And it has only been 1 loss as well.
That's what I
know that we're all going kind of nuts over this 1 loss, but it's not that it was 1 loss, it was how that loss was lost. That really makes me feel really kind of icky about this all.
It's the way McCarthy played. If he had went out there and if he'd moved the ball and thrown for a couple touchdowns, but hey, he's still a young quarterback, so he threw a couple interceptions and didn't make a good read here or there, and they lost a couple games. It would be different. It would be a different sort of conversation. It's the fact that he played so poorly, and he didn't even look like there were times where he didn't look like he belonged on the field. I mean, he was scrambling out and looking like a fish out of water and throwing the ball around, and I'm like, oh boy, this is some bad football out of it.
This is the point I was wanting to make earlier, and I had that same exact thought in my head, but I was rambling, is had they played a game and they had lost 27-28, I would be fine, because I see, like yesterday, if you watched Indianapolis, and by the way, who had that on their bingo card for this season? Daniel Jones and the Colts being 2-0, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs starting 0-2. None of you ever predicted that, and if you say that, you're a liar.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is the absolute greatest name. Like, Danny Dimes was great. Rich Eisen's show wanted to call him Danny Diamonds, which I thought was funny. But Indiana Jones is the coolest quarterback name, and it goes for the dorkiest, most eventful player ever, and I love it, dude. I love it so much.
That's also part of the problem as well too, is that you look at how much he was struggling, and throughout the off season, we were kind of questioning what the Vikings were doing at the quarterback position in terms of your backup quarterback. Yep. We went for a long stretch where we're like, what? We don't really have one. What are we doing? And then you see, okay, Jones is out there looking really well. Aaron Rodgers expressed interest in coming to play for the Vikings. Sam Darnold could have been maybe given a better opportunity than what he was to come in. And I know now I'm sitting here, when we were after last offseason on this very same podcast, I'll call myself out and go, we were ready for Sam Darnold to leave. And so I realize I'm playing both sides of the coin right now when McCarthy sucked by saying, oh, well, you should have kept him, when that's not what we were saying a year ago as Vikings fandom. But you kind of look at the whole picture and you go, it feels like they didn't really have that good of a plan in place. And we're hoping that Carson Wentz, that we called off the couch, is going to come in and look like an MVP when we have no idea. This could go terrible as well, too.
I'd probably lean towards that, and that's not me being the natural, usual pessimistic person that I am. I'm just looking realistically at his career stats. The last time he played a full season, 17 games, was 2021 when the Rams won their Super Bowl.
What was his last start? Like the last game where he started?
Kansas City, he played in 3 games last year. He only had 12 completions and 19 attempts. So I don't think that that's a start. And even the year before that with LA, he only had 2 games played with 17 completions.
What was his last start in
Washington in 2022? He played 8 games. He had 1,755 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 9 picks.
I didn't even know he was in Washington. That's not even a joke.
So that's literally 3 seasons ago now. Before he actually played, he played half the year. But I would curb it and hope that if this is truly an ankle, because that's on there too. That's a conspiracy theory that's out there now. People in the comments are like, "Look at O'Connell's body language. That that's not an ankle sprain. He's getting Bryce Young right now. He's already getting the Bryce Young rumors, and I don't know. You can believe that or not. Whatever. That's fine. I hope the Carson Wentz experiment is only for a month, and that McCarthy comes back after the bye or whatever.
I'll go down that rabbit hole a little bit. So if he's not going on IR or short-term IR, why are you not playing the game that you typically play as a head coach? Where is he questionable? Is he going to play Sunday? Is he not going to play? How come you announced it on a fucking Monday where you're just like, no, he's out for like 4 weeks? That's what makes
Wes.
this.
So I looked up the answer to your question and I don't like it.
What is it?
Carson Wentz's last start was last season, Week 18, when he filled in for Patrick Mahomes when they were resting their starters, and the Chiefs lost that game 38-0.
So, like I said, I would err on the side of caution instead of hope. Don't do it.
So
yeah, when I was looking into that, I was hoping to get something a little bit more optimistic, but that wasn't great.
So Max Brosmer time in Minnesota.
Man. This is not how any of us see. And like we said, let's double down on this take. If this team had, so they're 1-1, that's fine. You're 500, 2 games in. It's 2 games into the season. We've seen Kirk Cousins play 3 games in a row where he looked like the MVP of football. We've also seen him have a whole month where I wanted to just fly him to South America and never see him again, right? Like, I get it. 2 games is not enough. If the team was competing and losing in typical heartbreaking Vikings fashion of like a walk-off field goal, an interception that sealed the game, I wouldn't feel nearly as like panicky right now. But it's been really bad, and like I keep saying for the 3rd time on the show, they've had all offseason to prep for this. They've got good pieces. I need to know what's going on and why, but this feels sort of like, and I hate doing this to Kevin O'Connell, this feels a lot like a Mike Zimmer tweak situation where it's like, is it though? Is it? Because the team doesn't look like that. And I know I'm exaggerating. I have to make the show interesting somehow.
Yeah, it could very well be damage control after that game. Be like, hey, look how tough this kid is. He finished the game. He may have struggled, but he was hurt.
I mean, yeah. I think there's definitely truth to a high ankle sprain.
Sure.
I mean, the way he was banged up on that game, there were plays where he was like, his offensive linemen are like pulling him off the ground, and the shoulder pads are sticking out underneath the jersey, and like he was getting tossed.
He had a QBR, and this is not the same as rating. He had a QBR of 6.2. He got sacked 6 times, and they had 11 quarterback hits on J.J. McCarthy. So let's make it real. This is, some of it's on him for sure, but other parts of it is
like,
he's getting the shit beat out of him, just like Sam Darnold was in that playoff game.
I really hope Darisaw is good to go.
Yeah.
This game on Sunday, because they are definitely going to need him.
For sure.
Can we play absolute doomsday scenario right now?
We're already there, dude.
What if Carson Wentz looks like Carson Wentz and he's terrible for 4 quarters of football? What's the plan next week?
Probably find a new host because I'm going to kill myself. They're finally going to get the best of me, and I'm going to be like, fuck you guys. You're my entire
I have faith in the
eulogy.
ginger quarterback.
Good. I'm glad you do, Adam. I'm going to try to borrow some of that from you.
I think that Vikings, we have never drafted and developed a quarterback, ever. I don't know why we thought we could. We're right where we belong with Carson Wentz coming in and going to have the career resurgence game incoming. Like, that's the most Vikings thing to happen right now,
But sitting
right?
here now and thinking, okay, boy, the Vikings traded for a backup quarterback during the draft, and he was absolutely god-awful, so we shipped him out. And then we had to bring in Carson Wentz. Is that foresight now looking very smart rather than sitting on what they had?
Oh, he's definitely better than Sam Howell. Sam Howell couldn't run this, but it's just not a good scenario. And we talked about this a month ago. If if McCarthy goes down, the ship's sailing on the season anyways. Like, I hate to do that the third weekend to an 18-week season, but
Were the Vikings too concerned in the offseason about bringing in a true veteran quarterback? Because they were worried that if McCarthy didn't look good, there would be that outcry from either the players in the locker room or the fans on social media to pivot to someone who would have been more of an actual, competition starter. Like, was that what was going on behind the scenes as well,
I think that's why they didn't bring Sam Darnold back. I think clearly
the plan the whole time was that this is J.J. McCarthy's season and they were going to roll with whatever happened, but we don't even get that for the next 4 weeks now or so.
I think Adam is 100% correct. They were rolling with McCarthy no matter what, but that's the reason Sam Darnold wasn't coming back. And they gave him an offer they knew he was going to get a better offer on. If you brought him back,
with Daniel Jones, I mean, sure, Daniel Jones could have made some decent money to sit behind J.J. McCarthy, but he thought, you know what, I can still compete at a starting level, and he went to
He was right.
To the Colts, and he is their starter, and he is not letting go of that job anytime soon.
oh yeah, Anthony Richardson's going to be the next insert whatever name that has to refresh somewhere else.
He'll be the next Viking.
I hope not. My God, I know it. You guys, you see me being doom and gloom today. I know it's hard. It's way easier said than done. Obviously, to go find the next Mahomes, go find the next Lamar Jackson. Yeah, everybody wants that, but you gotta hope to find that, and we see the drop off now. We see it.
I'm gonna oversimplify this a lot right now, but the Vikings have a cheat code. All you got to do is throw the ball to number 18. I don't care if how hard you have to manufacture touches for him. You've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Justin Jefferson more than what they've done on the first 2 games. That's our offense.
You know what I see, and I just got this in my group chat. Shout out to the Nashville boys. We still communicate, especially during football season. It's just shit talk all day long. I was telling my buddy Doug, he's a big Bengals fan. I was like, which is worse? A Bengals fan and seeing Joe Burrow get hurt again, or healthy J.J. McCarthy right now in this game? And, obviously that's a joke, haha. But I just got a text from these guys, and it said, Jameis Winston is quarterback 3 in New York right now, and Cincinnati is down their starter. Jameis Winston to Jamar Chase would break every record in NFL history. And I'm like, just don't let him do it this week. Let him come in a couple weeks. If Jake Browning? If he looks terrible.
Yeah. Yep.
And last time Jake Browning played the Vikings, he won the game.
He won the game. He looked awesome. Yeah, I know. We can only hope that their defense is terrible, what we thought. But at least it's a 1 o'clock game this time. We don't have to wait all day. We can get it over with. I appreciate that. I like that a lot. And Adam's going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was paying for something a little bit more,
Optimistic.
quarterbacky.
That's a good word.
But yeah, I talked to my nephew about that, and I said, are you sad you don't see J.J. McCarthy? He's like, not really.
Oh, no. That's nicer than the stuff Kyle and I were saying on the side.
He seems like such a good kid.
He's such a nice kid. He's a wonderful human, and he's a...
Yeah, Josh is a good kid.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, him too.
JJ's a cool kid, too, and congratulations. I know we've been poo-pooing on him this episode, kind of, but he just became a father last week, too. Like, he's got a lot of emotion, a lot of things going on. You hope to see him figure it out and bounce back. It just sucks because you have to figure it out fast.
So if we can look at it from McCarthy's perspective, kid's been a winner his whole life.
Oh, he's still winning in life.
Well, he's still winning in life, but on the football field, I mean, he wins throughout high school. He wins throughout. He wins a national championship in college. He just played after being injured, okay? Didn't get to play for that whole first year. He just had two of the worst games probably of his entire football playing career, as far back as you want to go. That's gotta be mentally tough for him to weather that storm as well too. And then you get hurt again. Like, we're gonna see what he's made of.
You know what? I don't like this at all. Andrew, you get my donkey this week. How dare you bring up 2011 where Tebow beat us? I remember this game. Thank you for making me remember that. Shame on you. Muffin Man says Browning's O-line actually grades higher when he's in there when Burrow is. Well, because of course he does. And he will have his chance against the Vikings, of course. Because the most Viking stat and thing ever is that. Oh, this team frustrates the fucking life out of me, man. I just don't have much positivity. And there's stuff to be happy about. I mean, the defense, not consistently, but at times, they look amazing. It looks like getting Hargrave and Allen and these linebackers and the depth is great. I still think the secondary is an absolute mess. I texted you last night. I was like, cool, safety on a giant wide receiver. Love to see that on the outside. I don't understand some of the stuff that's going on there, but at least they can look formidable and competent. When they turn it on, they are better half of the league of the defense. I mean, the numbers show that, but
Just to make sure we are not in the panic mode enough yet to send an offer for Kirk Cousins.
no.
We'll see what.
No.
We'll see what
No.
Carson Wentz
No,
does.
I don't care. I don't care. You send out XYZ. You send out the 14th straight. You don't know. That ship has sailed. It's done forever. We appreciate you. No. The answer is no, no matter what.
The ship has sailed, but it's not so far out that it can't turn.
No, it's
around.
not. It's on the other side of the world. Don't do that. Don't even do it, dude. Don't. I don't want to see it. And then I saw that yesterday in the comments too. But like, hey, the trade deadline's not till this time. Like, don't. Stop.
And I was just scrolling Vikings news, looking at some of the articles that have been written, and yeah, the bring Kirk back noises, it's noising.
Let's be truthful. Let's calm down for a minute. Take it down a notch, Smith and myself. Adam, you're always down here. Smith and I are always way up. We're gonna come down for a minute here. So, if Carson Wentz absolutely stinks, okay, you're not really making a trade for anyone. You're gonna ride that storm out, and you're gonna put McCarthy back in, and whatever happens for the remainder of the season happens with McCarthy, and you just have to. That's the bed you made in the offseason, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Like, there's no magic solution here. Like, you're not bringing in Kirk Cousins. You're not trading for Jameis Winston.
Oh, the Falcons lead some of that salary cap on Cousins. You'll be all good to go.
I just truly don't think you do that.
Give up a couple firsts and you're good to go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know what, Kyle? It's the thing that I hate saying, but we have to say it. Just tell yourself this team's going to struggle. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, and keep your expectations low. I'm not telling you to be as Debbie Downer as I am, but keep it. Hey, this team will probably win 6 games. Keep it about there. If they're better, that means McCarthy showed some promise. If they're at 6 wins, he might not be the answer. If they're worse than 6 wins and he rides out the majority of the season, I'm sorry, but in today's NFL, if you want to keep that coach and that shiny all-star wide receiver, you might be looking at a quarterback next year. But
So
that's
the leash get a little shorter on McCarthy then for you?
I'm not there yet, but I'm close.
So how many seasons are you still willing to give him?
I'll give him this year. I think you at a minimum. I don't think that's anyone's priority other than. And this is why I only say a year, Adam. Here's my justification for that. If he looks like this for 18 games, can you honestly sit here and look at me and be like, sure, let's do another year of that? I don't want it. Because of the reasons I mentioned before. Not because I don't believe in quarterback development, but here's the thing. He is in such a unique situation. He's already been on the roster for a year, and I was defending you in my message to Kyle earlier because we were just bullshitting back. We're like, this fucking team, this quarterback, like we were going at it. It's like, Adam is very adamant to say don't call JJ a rookie because he's not a rookie. This isn't his first year. That's good and bad. I agree, but he's only played 2 games. But if you're going to go into, let's say just for my doomsday scenario, he looks like these 2 games for the rest of the year, going on like after the bye week or something. Then it gets into creeping into reality of what I said of, you think Justin Jefferson wants to stay here for that? He ain't going to want to stay. We're wasting his prime years. And if he leaves, dude, then I'm worried about Kevin O'Connell's position there because they're going to start chirping and be like, you whiffed on your quarterback. He was injured 1 year. He looks like crap this year. You're going with him and get like, that's going to be a real conversation, and then it's going to become reality. And I don't want that to happen because I've seen him kind of like patchwork it up until this point every time, and like he fixed it. Even that year when Kirk tore his Achilles, we were like, okay, I get it. Kevin O'Connell's not the issue. Like he made Nick Mullins throw for 400 yards.
So we know this is a J.J. McCarthy year. We know that he might be the guy next year, no matter what, just to see what it is. But at that point, after next season, they have to make that decision on the 50-year option. And right now, I don't think that's something that Minnesota would take advantage of if he continues to play like this. But I do think the leash is a little longer than you think. I do think he's got more than the 1 year. I think maybe they'll bring in a veteran to compete with or something with him next season. But I hate sitting here talking about next season when there's still so many games left to play.
And it's such a bad position for me to sit here and be like, well, if he plays good, we don't talk about it. Like, well, of course, if I win the lottery, then I don't have to worry about money. Like, anybody can say those things. It's not a fun, smart. It's kind of a lazy take, but that's why I say this year at a minimum, we know it's McCarthy's show. But I don't know how, if he looks this bad all year, you could say, I'm going to try it again, and then you don't start worrying about this all-star receiver, this coach, this GM, blah, blah, blah. That's why I say it. But what I'm hoping is he comes back maybe after the bye week. Will Wentz write it out for these 3 games, and then they'll have a bye, and he'll come back, play the Eagles. The Eagles after the bye week, Jesus. And then, okay, he gets his shot, and you see, like, okay, at least I see some life, and then I see some grasping of the playbook. He's getting the ball out quicker. He looks better, and his feet aren't weird. If I can see those things, okay, cool. Wasn't our year. It's a red shirt going into a sophomore year. I get it. It's his first real season. Cool. But this right now, yes. But the problem with what I'm saying is it's 2 games. It's not enough of a sample size. And even me, being the guy who's like, this sucks, and I never wanted him anyways, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've said all these things already. Cool. It's still 2 games. I saw Matt Flynn, and I go on this. I've said, how many times have I said that on the show, Kyle? I've seen Matt Flynn throw 6 touchdowns in a game. He wasn't the dude. So if he's not the guy and had a great performance, how can I give up on a guy after 8 quarters? I'm not going to do that yet. But I can say that and also say it hasn't been good.
But I mean, we are early in the season. We're 2 games in, and this team still has yet to find a rhythm. They're dealing with so many injuries, yet every headline, every discussion is going to be J.J. McCarthy.
You know what it is too, guys? I know I just talked for a lot, but it is also, let's say we still had Cousins, right? Let's say last year, or let's Darnold because he was here. Let's say we roll with Darnold. We say, hey, we're going to give you $40 million for 1 more year. We're going to let you and JJ compete. Kevin O'Connell comes out and says, hey, Sam Darnold won the starting job. JJ's ready. Let's say Darnold got hurt the game 1. He tweaked his ankle or something, or he had like a MCL and he's going to be out for a couple weeks. I could understand if McCarthy played this way and he hadn't been getting all the reps. But that's the thing that I think that's what it is. I think I've answered my own question after digging down the file. He was given the job and given the opportunity, and it's not like...
It feels a bit like he was given...
He was absolutely given the job.
It feels like he was given the keys to the Cadillac before he got his learner's permit.
Yes. And while I understand, as a GM and a coach, if you take a kid 10th overall, he needs to start as soon as possible. Cool.
Got Kyle Westover sounding like Mike Zimmer. Get them rookies off the field, get my veterans in there. Aw, yeah.
I hate to say it. He might have had a point. He might have had a point. Look at Jordan Love. Maybe the system works for me. Maybe it's different.
I say it all the time.
Guys that chill a little bit beforehand.
I say it all the time. The older I get, the more I relate with Mike Zimmer. I get it, man.
I'm gonna make shirts for all of us, and if you guys will wear it, we'll just have an episode where they play like shit one game, and then we'll all wear a shirt that just says "not particularly," and just a black shirt with white font that says that. Like, how was the game for you? Was it fine? Like, are you optimistic? Not particularly.
I have two thoughts here that I have to get out before I forget and we venture off into something else.
Hot comment right here. Go ahead, Kyle.
I would like to go back and research at what point we all turned on Christian Ponder. Like I think that's a good sort of like answer to the question of how long is the leash on JJ McCarthy. Because look, and I know that people said that from the minute Ponder was drafted, he was taken way too high. And that's a little bit of the argument that you can make about McCarthy as well too, but it was definitely there for Ponder. But like Ponder had, I feel like, at least a season to a season and a half before the fan base was like completely like, okay, get this guy out of town, like we got to move on, we got to get on to something else.
It was year 3, and I've got it right here. I've already pulled it up.
So
year 1, 2011. Go ahead. Sorry.
If we gave Ponder that much time, like, guys, you're not shit cannon McCarthy after 2 games and an ankle sprain. Like the leash is longer than that. The other point that I was going to make is that we are so used to in Minnesota the older quarterback, the Sam Darnold or whatever, who comes in and they play really well immediately for this team, and we're like, whoa, where did that come from? We're not patient to sit here and wait for someone to develop. And I wish there was a way that you could go back and like, how do I look at Buffalo Bills social media and see how were their fans reacting to Josh Allen being drafted and growing and developing? Because we know there was an arc with Josh Allen where he had to draft and develop and learn and grow before he finally got to where
Bills
he
fans
was
got
at.
tired of Josh Allen quick until he changed his throwing motion and all that.
And
You're
that's
right.
the thing,
exactly.
to your point, Kyle, they do have a good coaching staff here for quarterback development, so you're right. I have your answer really quick. Remember this year, this is where we turned on Christian Ponder, and it was not for the better. We should have at least just shut our mouths. Maybe you didn't have to support him, but just being quiet. This was the Matt Castle, Josh Freeman year.
Ooh.
So Christian Ponder in 2013, because 2011, I remember this very vividly. I went to K-9 school in the Air Force this year, and I remember watching, and we won 3 games, the Vikings did, and one of them was because Carolina missed a field goal at the end of the game, so we really should have only won 2 games that year. 2012 was the magical Adrian Peterson year. Obviously, they go to the playoffs, they're 10-6. They beat some really good teams. And Ponder, his last regular season game, played lights out. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Like, he played magical.
That's what's frustrating is that McCarthy started so slow, and you're like, what? When it's like, how did Ponder come on? Because I remember that too. I'm like, oh.
It's one of my favorite games I've ever watched as a Vikings
great.
fan.
Yeah.
Peterson's chasing the record. He had over 200 yards that game. Ponder, he was on fire that game. He didn't play the next week because of some crazy elbow injury. Remember his elbow was like super swollen and bruised.
Yeah.
That was the Joe Webb in the Packers, like playing the Packers a week later in Green Bay game, which was terrible. But this year, this is the funniest thing. When you start looking at how much God hates this team, this is how I want to show you. Passing leaders in 2013, Matt Castle, 1,807 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 picks. Christian Ponder started 9 games. Matt Castle started 9 games, or played 9 games, excuse me. Christian Ponder, 1,648, 7 touchdowns, 9 picks. Josh Freeman, 1 game played. That was that horrible Giants game where he had 53 attempts after being there for 6 days. And then passing, name under the passing, John Carlson, the tight end. No completions, no attempts, but he lined up at quarterback for something. And here's the best part of this is why I brought this up. Josh Freeman's 1 game, 53 attempts, 20% or 20 completions, which is under half. He had a rating of 40.6. 40.6, Josh Freeman, after actually throwing the ball 53 times. John Carlson did not throw once. He had a rating of 39.6. So
that's amazing.
Oh, man. Yeah, you'll find some nuggets on this show. You're welcome for that. I think that's when they turned on him. It definitely was 2.5 years in. And right now we're at 1 1/10 of the way in. So
the whole Christian Ponder thing is so wild to me because there was plenty of reasons to be out, whether it was his lack of arm strength, his lack of deep ball accuracy, whatever it was. But for a lot of fans, it was when the decided to blame God for him being struggling on the football field.
Yeah, I remember that.
My
That was
goodness.
definitely.
I mean, you always see people, thanking God for helping them do good things, but you never see the other way around.
We have such an interesting relationship with young quarterbacks here in Minnesota. You know that it just never seems to work out the way we want it to. And then I look back at like Teddy Bridgewater, and I still feel like with Teddy that, man, you don't know what he was gonna. If he wouldn't have got hurt, I still just don't know what Teddy was truly going to do for this team if he does not go down with that non-contact knee injury.
Yeah, drafting quarterbacks has definitely not been Minnesota's specialty. I mean, outside of like Dante Culpepper in anywhere near recent history, that's about as far back as you got to go to find someone.
And even Culpepper, man, like he looked really good. You're also throwing to Randy Moss. That'll help you out quite a bit. And then Culpepper goes down with a knee injury, and that's like career over for Dante. I mean, he goes to Miami, does absolutely nothing in Miami, and there's that famous like what if pivot in the NFL where they had, was it Drew Brees on their roster or was looking at Drew Brees?
Oh, yeah.
I know there was something where it was like they had that choice between Dante Culpepper and Drew Brees, and they went with Dante, and New Orleans ends up with Drew Brees, and like we know how that story goes out for those two teams right there. Like that's an interesting fork in the NFL. I love Teddy as well too.
That quarterback sneak call in our first drive was such a horrible play call. Yeah. Everybody gets a little slice of the blame pie. I think that's the one thing that I have to do to calm myself down is to say, okay, McCarthy does look very overwhelmed and very young and very kind of confused, but there's also just a handful of other things that are kind of a shit sandwich to eat as a fan. And
yeah, that fourth down call was if CJ Ham was healthy, boy, you could have lined up and gave it to CJ Ham and got a yard out of it. Or if you really wanted to do it, like I'm not the biggest gadget guy, but man, some kind of jet sweep or something with Justin Jefferson.
Correct.
If you were going to go for it, like why did you have to try the quarterback up the middle that we knew? I knew that. I get frustrated. I knew that wasn't going to work. You knew it wasn't going to work. Why did they run that?
It might have worked better if that snap had got to the quarterback's hands before the
Well,
center tried to get his head down there.
And that's the example we're talking about right there. I'm shitting on the play call, but Adam, you bring up a great point. Like, it's one of those starts to the season where pretty much everything that can go wrong has.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like...
There was so much in that play that you were like, nope. That was not meant to be.
And it's tough because Brian Flores, when the offense plays the defense every day for practice, yeah, he's very good players, good scheme, all that. But it's still like other teams are going to pose different problems and threats. So
here's a question I have that I don't know if I've seen anyone answer yet. So I had heard from all of the Vikings media that's bigger than us, guys who were at training camp, all of that stuff.
Says who? Nobody's bigger than the Purple People Pie. Get out of here.
I never heard anyone say that McCarthy was struggling this bad. Did you guys? Did you hear anyone say that, boy, McCarthy looked like absolute dog shit?
I mean, there were some reports coming out both ways that he was struggling some, but nothing crazy.
You heard a little bit, but like everyone,
you're gonna have ebbs and flows in camp. Like, yeah.
Right. Like I never heard anyone report that he looked that poorly, which is why it's so confusing that you hit regular season and you're like, oh boy, where'd this come from?
That's a true testament to you got to play in the preseason more, because when you got a red jersey on in practice and nobody's actually going to come in there and fuck you up, he's seeing it now. And look what happened last night. Like, this happens this is why the NFL is so great and why you get sucked into it every year is, by all accounts, Atlanta was supposed to be fighting with New Orleans and Carolina for the bottom of the division. They play a Tampa team who's very good, and they give them a run for their money because they beat Tampa. They beat them twice last year. That's a playoff team. So
does Kevin O'Connell need to simplify the offense a little bit more, or what could help here?
100%. Get the ball out or sell your soul to the run game, and that's all you do 80% of the time.
Because Kevin O'Connell's offenses are notoriously complicated.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering if it's something to do with that.
You're correct. I think you're correct, Adam. And I've heard that McCarthy is a smart kid, that he's able to, get the plays out. But like you said, there's a difference between training camp and like regular season, get the plays out on time. I agree with you. I think when McCarthy comes back, and I'm assuming after this 3, 4 weeks, whatever, he's probably going to be back starting for the Vikings. You have to start rolling him out and get Hawkinson in front of him. And like, here's your read. Your read is TJ Hawkinson on this rollout. Hit him. And if you can't do that, throw the ball out, and we'll
And design plays to help a quarterback out who's under a lot of pressure. Get some slants, get some screens, get things rolling. And those plays weren't there.
You mentioned it last night. Give your credit to yourself, Adam. You mentioned that last night. There's nothing quarterback friendly going on, or like layups, as we call them, for all of us laymen like myself. None of that was there, and that goes back to my point of the blame pie. Everybody gets a slice because, and we haven't even mentioned this. Oh yeah, we did it earlier. 218 yards on the ground by the Falcons. Holy God! Their second best runner had double the amount of yards as our top rusher.
Oh,
it's crazy.
If they don't figure something out, Saquon Barkley is going to break Adrian Peterson's record for most rushing yards in a game.
Oh, that would be such irony and cruelty.
I like the Falcons running back. What's his name? Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that dude was getting like 10 yards a carry, you put Barkley in there, he's going like 20 yards a carry.
They're going to have to sell their. I don't think their corners are good enough to lock up A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So I think they're going to sell out.
They're going to
sell out on stopping Jalen Hurts and Saquon. That would be my initial guess, and that means that Smitty and Goddard and
you don't stop Saquon Barkley.
They're going to sell. That's what they're going to do. Their plan. Though. They're going to say that's the dude we stop. We're going to sell our soul to stop him, and then that's going to be the game where A.J. Brown looks like Calvin Johnson. And Devontae Smith looks like Steve Smith, and you're like, Jesus Christ, how did both of them have 150 yards apiece? Like that's what because the secondary is not good, it's not great. I think their strength is in the front seven, is what I'm trying to say.
Has there been an update on Devontae Smith's injury?
I have no idea about him. I thought he went back in the game, so
he might have, but I know he took a pretty bad bump on his
he
hip.
fell on his back really flat from 4 or 5 feet. It was crazy. That would have been a hell of a catch. But Bijan has better stats than Barkley. That's crazy. I didn't know that. He was complimenting him last night, which
that running style of his did not help the Vikings at all when it came to trying to tackle.
If you want to nerd out on football knowledge and then apply it in a game and watch, there was one run in particular where he got the ball and kind of just softly stutter step, and then he had the burst and acceleration. I haven't seen that in real time of acceleration by a running back where it looked like he jumped on a moving treadmill. And I was like, holy crap! He's very good.
Prime Adrian Peterson, when he broke one out, and you could legitimately see him kick it into a higher gear and open
taking
field.
Taking that split second to evaluate your blocking and find the holes. I mean, that is something that Adrian Peterson did insanely well, and Bijan was doing that all day. He had that time in the backfield to see where he needed to go, and when he got there, he powered through. And it's not that the tackling was terrible; it's that Bijan Robinson wasn't going down.
I have to say it now that you brought up Adrian Peterson. Of all the crazy highlights we watched as fans of his, you know what my favorite call ever was? They were playing in Vegas against the Raiders, and there was just a missed assignment, and then by 2 yards after he got past the defensive line, you knew he was taking it to the house, and the announcer goes, "See ya." That's it. And they were beyond, they were at the 50 or on their own side of the field, and it was just, "See ya." It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, well, somebody's gonna get their ass chewed in the film room tomorrow. But I think we can shut it down for part of or most of this. It's doom and gloom. It sucks, but Carson Wentz is a veteran. There's a reason to go get him. I do feel better about him for a stint of time than I had more faith in Sam Howell. And I'm not pooping on Sam Howell because I've seen him play. He's a gunslinger. I liked him in Carolina when I was watching him in college. But everything we heard about Sam Howell this year for Vikings camp was streaky at best. So we got to put our faith that the veteran who's not over the hill age. He's just, 31 or 32. He'll come in, he'll lead the team. McCarthy will get healed, he'll get a little reset, and then.
You gotta get. I keep saying it, man. Not to interrupt.
No,
You
go
gotta
ahead.
get. You gotta get the ball to 18.
Yeah.
That is your number one priority for the Vikings this coming game.
I think you got to get 4 people out of concussion protocol, 3 people off IR, and
Yeah.
get some people out of that
that
trainer's
part.
room that are getting their injuries looked at.
Yeah.
But I probably won't be here to discuss the game next week, so it might just be the Kyles because I will be in Minnesota.
Heck yeah.
Hey, you know what? You were a good luck charm. I, unfortunately, the last game that I went to was against Kansas City Chiefs, so didn't get to see a Vikings win. But I am
Very, very nervous about this one. I'm 9-0 at Vikings games, and this one would make 10, but I don't know.
As long as you enjoy yourself, Adam, that's all we care about. I won't share your
All I really
personal-
care about is giving my nephew a great experience at this game, so he wants to go back.
I'm not going to share your personal stuff. That's not my place. But I know you're having a good year, and I just want you to enjoy the game. Shout out to my buddy Aaron Madison, lifelong Cowboys fan. I don't remember exactly the details. Sorry, I was reading your text and I was distracted while he told me. But he was at the game yesterday, sporting a Vikings jersey too. I think a Jared Allen jersey, and had a good time in Minnesota. He said the stadium. He's like, it's no Jerry's World, but this place is great. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty damn good. Great stadium. So he got to go yesterday and experience it firsthand. He said the crowd was amazing. Got to see the Jared Allen halftime ride out on a motorcycle, and he showed me the skull chant from a fan's perspective. So it was really cool. I'm happy that you're going to get to do that. I really wish that I was getting to catch a game this year, but you're our good luck charm, Adam. They're going to win Sunday because you're going to be there. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
In the meantime, you can check out my work over in the Viking Age. I had a fantastic month last month, and I hope this month can be great too. And even if you're just going there to figure out what's going on with our quarterback situation or get an idea of what's happening with other people on the team or how things are heading into the next game, go take a look over at the Viking Age. You might find something you like. You can also check me out on social media at MNVikingZombie. I'm anywhere on social media that you can go. I'll pretty much be there, whether it's Twitch or X or Instagram or TikTok, or I'm on all of them. Just add me.
I was typing that twice, and it was already in there. Look at that. And this one doesn't have a capital I after Viking. Yeah, MN Viking Zombie. There you go. Kyle West, I'm typing yours out now for Blue Sky. If I can spell correctly.
You can give me a follow over on Blue Sky. I don't post as often anymore on any social media, to be honest. But you can follow me at Bigwing Square if you would like, and we can talk Vikings football or whatever else.
I don't really blame you. Social media ain't really a great place these days.
Not really a fun place to be.
I'm glad you said that because it was on my mind right now. I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to name anything specific, but you guys know the last thing. Well, okay, I will name specific things, but I'm not going to name just one because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm only catering to a certain crowd. Recently, a girl was stabbed on a light rail train in my hometown, which was disgusting and horrifying. There was a school shooting last week. Charlie Kirk was murdered in front of thousands of people, and it was also, it's kind of why I have a job and why I had to left my hometown. 9/11 was last week. That's been the basis of my whole career. It was a heavy week. That's why I'm not going to plug my stuff. Let's just be nicer to each other. Jesus,
I
man.
agree.
Just be nicer. If somebody says something that you don't like politically, like let's say I'm a Trump supporter and you hate him and all that stuff, you don't have to want me to die. You don't have to say I'm a piece of crap. We can all just be like, I disagree, but, what kind of band do you like? It never goes there anymore. And it's never just like, I don't like that dude. He's kind of a bummer. But, I like
Keep in mind, though, freedom of speech is great, and it's available out there for everyone. But there can be repercussions for your free speech. And you got to remember that as well. So when you're saying what you're saying, be kind. Be nice.
Yeah.
Remember that other people have feelings that are just trying to make it in this world.
I agree with that, 100%. Let's all be nicer to each other. And you know what? We're going to come back with our Zen next week because the Vikings are going to win. They don't have to face Joe Burr. They're going to get the Max. Is that his name? No, Jake Browning. I'm thinking of our quarterback. I don't even know. they're gonna have the Jake Browning thing to deal with there. So, yeah, well, Adam's gonna be there. Our good luck charm. Adam, lead us out, man, and have fun at that game, dude. I'm so stoked that you get to go.
Thank you again to everyone who joined us in chat. We were great to have you guys here. We had quite a few people here actually during the show, and we appreciate when you guys interact with us. We'll be back next week, at least 2 of us will, to talk about this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. That'll be Sunday. Not sure when we're going to go live, but we will try to give you guys a heads up. In the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.